see you again.
Yeah, how's it going?
Oh, I'm good. What about you? Whoop.
I'm good.
So, it's been a while since I've seen you. What's new?
So a couple weeks ago I found out that I will be a TA again next semester, which wasn't originally what I want to do or had planned, but it's just kind of necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what was that like finding out? Like, how did you find out?
My professor randomly texted me one night, which I don't think he's ever done that before. He was like, hey, call me when you get the chance. So I was at the store, so I just called him, and he kind of gave me a heads up that it might be happening potentially. And then I think later that same week, I got an email from the department asking me to do it. And so I emailed him to confirm that I needed to do it, and then I said yes.
Yeah, so it kind of sounds like it was unexpected before he told you then.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
So, before this, had you already been a TA?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I had been one before. And so the way he runs his lab, he generally likes his students to be a TA for at least 1 year. Hopefully I was hoping that was it that I'd have to do. But it's just the department needed someone to fill in a spot. And so I qualified, and so they asked me.
Right. Yeah. So it just kind of sounds like you were expecting to do it that first year, but now you're going back to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of just wanted to do it then, because if I'm a TA, it probably adds about 15 to 20 hours of work a week that I have to do in addition to my normal research.
Yeah, that's a lot to add to your schedule. How do you feel about that?
It is what it is. I mean, it'll be fun sometimes. Like, I enjoy working with students, so I enjoy that aspect of it. I think the biggest thing for me is, well, there will be some times where I won't enjoy grading something, but I think the biggest thing is just it'll take away time that I'll have wanted to spend doing other things.
What would you have wanted to do with that time instead?
Well, I mean, I can get more work done, like of my research and things like that. I mean, it's the first thing that comes to mind, but then, I mean, it may not be like super bad, but it'll cut into my like personal free time, whether I'm hanging out with friends or with my wife or just doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah. Well, do you think on the school side, do you think your professors are understanding that you have a new burden, kind of, so to speak, in your time?
My professors?
With doing your research and your
classes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll be his grader for a class, which isn't a ton of work.
Okay, so that helps a little. Yeah,
that's part of the job. The main part of the job is I have to teach 2 labs.
Okay.
And so teaching requires me to, understand everything that's going on, which the material is easy. It's just I have to review stuff.
Right.
And then just make myself available to students if they have questions, things like that.
So when you were telling me about that, I heard you say you really enjoy working with students. Can you tell me more about that?
So I've worked 2 summer camps before, and I don't know, I just really like investing in students' lives. I've been in their shoes. They've struggled with things that I've struggled with, and I just kind of like to help them get through that. Maybe my experiences can be used to assist them through that. Especially in college, I really have a heart for college students, just because that was such a big time in my life. It really shaped a lot of who I am. And so whenever they're going through things, I've been there. I understand what they're going through, and I know, I just like being around it still.
So when you were a TA the first time, do you feel like you got to kind of fill that role, like when you were a counselor before at a camp?
Not necessarily. This is more like business-ish, if you will. It's more like I have the knowledge that I need to teach them, and they need to communicate with me to get their grades and stuff like that. Whereas I do get to know a couple of the students like on a personal level, but when you work in a camp setting, that's way more personal than what I'm doing now.
Right. So it's a different
dynamic.
Yeah. Okay. But you seem to enjoy that, to some degree. It's not entirely like a disappointment.
Yeah,
Is what
yeah.
I would have felt, so that's what I was assuming you felt.
No, it's not the worst thing ever. It's more so just the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Makes me sound selfish, but
okay.
It's like taking away from my time. I have less freedom to choose to do what I want to do.
Right. So it sounds more so like your concern is not actually being the TA; it's the time being a TA is going to take.
Yes.
Okay, I'm following you now. Yeah. Well, that's hard. How do you think your time management's going right now? Last time we kind of talked about that.
Yeah. Right now, this semester is actually a lot different than any other semester I've had in college. My professor, so I'm enrolled in 2 classes, but I really only go to 1 class essentially, and he's canceled class like 5 or 6 times, which never happens for any of my classes ever. So it's really weird. It's a very unstructured class, and I'm still not 100% sure his expectations for us. He hasn't really made that clear, and so that has been very relaxed, not much work or effort put into that, which allows me to spend time on research or really to kind of take it easy if we're not around the deadline as far as how I spend my time, which is nice. So like on a weekend, if I want to head out early, something like that, it's not a big deal.
Right. So do you feel like it's been more challenging, or how do you feel like it's been having to kind of be more flexible? Like on certain semesters you have a lot of work, and then the next semester you don't really know what you're expected to do, and do you feel like that's hard fluctuating, or? It
just takes adjusting, getting used to it. I don't mind it because, like being a TA before, there's a lot of time spent in stuff that I didn't really care to. And then I guess the whole, like, just being married in itself, since that's still new. 3 months today. Been married 3 months today.
You did it!
Yeah. And so just time management in general is different now than it was in any other semester I've had in school.
Yeah, that piece changes that. You've already been in TA and now you're throwing in that. It's a new challenge for sure. So what do you think you're going to do about that?
Do about?
The whole, you were talking about kind of just managing time and kind of fluctuating each semester, like, and now you're having to do that while being married and having different priorities. Do you think that's going to be pretty similar to before, or do you think it's going to be more challenging? What are you expecting, I guess, is what I want to know.
I think it's pretty different. In the fact that, like at night, if I just want to veg out and do something I want to do, I may not have that option because, we need to go grocery shopping, or my wife has needs that just emotionally need to be met, and so I have to make myself available in order to do that.
Do you feel like your needs are being met in that too then?
Yeah. She does a good job of communicating with me. She's more of a talker than I am. She'll talk things out better than I do.
Good. Okay. Well, do you feel like you're prepared then? Like you have a game plan going into next semester, or kind of just going to take it as it comes?
I think just mentally a mindset. That's what helps me personally, is having that mindset, and even like a day-by-day thing, knowing what I'm getting into during the day. If I, like for instance, have a class in the morning, mentally I have to prepare myself to focus in that class, otherwise I'll just surf the internet on my laptop instead of really paying attention to what the professor's talking about.
And what does that look like, helping yourself like mentally focus?
What does it mentally look like?
Well, you said you had to like mentally prepare yourself to focus for class. That process of like preparing yourself, like internally, what does that look like? Whether it's going to class or going to do research or whatever your week looks like, how do you prepare for that mentally, emotionally?
I mean, it's just in the morning whenever I'm doing my morning routine. If I'm reading in the morning and eating breakfast, and I just have to like tell myself, okay, today is the day that I will focus on this and put my energy and my effort into that.
So just kind of organizing in your mind.
Yeah, instead of just haphazardly jumping into it, having the mindset, this is what I'm going to do. That's what helps me.
So kind of having that game plan
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Mhm.
And gotcha. That makes sense. Wow. That doesn't sounds like you have a handle on this, and
I hope to, anyways. It'll be sometimes it'll be long nights, and that's just the nature of the work with where I'm at right now. The interesting thing to me, it's really flexible, which is super nice. For obvious reasons, being flexible is always nice with your schedule and work and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like I feel like work is never ever truly finished.
right.
Because there's always more research to do after I finish what I'm doing, and so I have to tell myself that I'm running like a marathon, and I have like 4-ish years left
Yeah.
of doing it, and so it's like, okay, I try not to burn myself out on it I don't want to push too hard right now and not finish the race.
You gotta pace yourself.
Right.
For sure. I can see that. And if you're trying to push too much in right now, pushing your pace too hard, then you're gonna
I'm gonna get burnt out.
Oh yeah. But do you feel like you're aware of when you're pushing that pace? When you're pushing yourself too hard?
Sometimes. I'm trying to think of specific instances. As far as since I've been in grad school, I know as an undergrad I would spread myself too thin and have like just be too involved with stuff, and it would just emotionally, physically, and mentally drain me, and I was just tired all the time. And I don't feel like that right now, so I know I'm going at a fine pace.
Okay. So you've kind of learned from past experiences what it feels like to be at burnout and how
Right.
to pace yourself better now.
Yeah, it's more so the just pure exhaustion. Will tell me
Yeah.
what pace I
Good.
can handle.
So what would you do if you felt like you were getting to that point again? Do you have a game plan for that too?
I mean, just when I get to the point to where I realize what's happening, then I need to just evaluate how I spend my time and things I can cut out, try and cut out some of that stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like a big thing for you is prioritizing your time and how to spend it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How are you feeling now? From when we first started talking about this.
At the beginning of the session?
Yeah.
Oh. About prioritizing stuff? Or?
Yeah, just the whole thing. About life in general. Are you feeling okay now? Are you feeling better? Do you feel...
No, I feel like since I've talked it out, just more understood my own thought process behind it. I guess it's one thing to understand it, but then to out loud talk about it, it's a different thing.
Yeah, good. Okay, well, I'll see you again next time. We'll make an appointment, and we'll see how things are going with being a TA. Does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, well, have a good day.
All right, thanks.